go f yourself if you disagree.
At the beginning of the month, Freddie Prinze Jr, the voice of Kanan Jarrus in Star Wars Rebels, appeared as a guest on Jeff Dye's podcast. Jeff Dye released a clip from the podcast on his Instagram, which has got a lot of Star Wars fans talking. In the short clip, Freddie Prinze Jr begins to explain that after being in Star Wars, a lot of fans give him unnecessary hate. He continues to explain that those select fans are just frustrated that Star Wars is no longer aimed at them and that Star Wars is for kids.
Look, dog, you're just mad the franchise isn't aging with you.
Right.
But that ain't how it works. The first one was for kids.
Right.
Yep. The second 3 were for different kids. And this one is for kids. You just pissed off that Han Solo gave the Millennium Falcon to a girl.
This couldn't be more true, and if you're still unconvinced, here's a clip of George Lucas explaining this at Star Wars Celebration 2 years ago.
You know, it's hard for people to realize, and I'm not supposed to say this, and I wasn't supposed to say it then, but, you know, it's a film for 12-year-olds.
But it brings out the kid in all of us, doesn't it?
Well, Freddie Prinze Jr continues to say how fans have attempted to canonise the expanded universe.
You don't get to level up in the Star Wars world. That's a video game. There's no such thing as a gray Jedi. Qui-Gon even says, I turn towards the light because it's there. There's no gray. That's pretend fan fiction, which is cool, but don't try to canonize it because it doesn't work.
Obviously, this does not work, as this only changes people's expectations of what can and cannot happen within Star Wars. The legend stuff is cool, as Freddie says, but it does not work until Disney canonise these aspects. Freddie then explains how Star Wars will always be dictated by the Force and that there are no character archetypes. It's all about balance. The Force dictates who wins and loses. He relates this to some Star Wars fans wanting Darth Maul to eventually win, which will never happen.
Darth Maul, who everybody wants to win, and he's everyone's favorite because he looks sick and he's great in the video games.
Does look cool.
You guys, he's Sisyphus. He is born to fail. Learn your Greek mythology like, I don't know, George Lucas did. He's cursed to roll a boulder up the hill only to have it roll to the bottom again every single time for eternity. That is Darth Maul's quest.
As you can see, Freddie Prinze Jr is incredibly animated throughout the clip from the podcast. Star Wars Theory in his video said he was a little annoyed with Freddie Prinze Jr swearing at Star Wars fans. However, you've got to think about this. Freddie Prinze Jr is definitely not talking about young Star Wars fans here. He is talking about the select few of toxic fans who still think that Star Wars is aimed at them. They have to accept that Star Wars isn't aimed at them anymore, but can still love Star Wars for what it is. That is why we all love Star Wars. Freddie Prinze Jr clearly loves Star Wars. You can see this with how passionately he talks about it. For me, it was only a matter of time after Kelly Marie Tran was bullied off of social media for her role in The Last Jedi that a fellow Star Wars actor would react to toxic Star Wars fans. Even if you didn't like The Last Jedi, abusing an actress who played a character in the movie you didn't like is completely unacceptable. Kelly Marie Tran was playing a role she was told to play. Rian Johnson wrote and directed the Star Wars film he thought was correct to make, and don't tell me J.J. Abrams didn't know what Rian Johnson was writing for The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi wasn't my favourite Star Wars movie by any means, but some of the backlash which arose from the film was completely unacceptable. Some of the scenes in the film were some of the best in the Star Wars saga. I completely agree with everything Freddie Prinze Jr was saying in this clip, and as I said, a reaction from someone who works within Star Wars about toxic Star Wars fans was only around the corner, and now we have one. Let me know what you think of this podcast clip in the comments, and everyone mentioned in this video will be linked in the description. Hope you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.